Well, there it is. The Sacramento Kings have been eliminated from any sort of playoff contention. And although there are a variety of takes all over the place, ranging from fire Mike Brown to this team was just fine and we need to run it back again, I feel like we shouldn't get into that just quite yet. We should start with where we are right now, that being the Kings got absolutely demolished by the Pelicans for the 6th time this year. Now, if you watch any of my other videos, you know that I was saying the Kings were going to win the Warriors game, then lose to the Pelicans. It was just how it was going to go. History says that's how that game was going to be. Simply because the matchup between the two, the Pelicans just win it every single time. Like the length that the Pelicans have and the amount of times they're able to pop off and really dominate the Kings both in the paint and out on the three-point line, it's disgusting. Every time I watch a Pelicans versus Kings game, I sit there and wonder how Valanciunas is dominating Sabonis so goddamn much. Like Sabonis, for example, can go out there and have a 10-0 record against Anthony Davis in his career, right? Anthony Davis being one of the best centers in the NBA, still for some reason can't get past Sabonis, but Valanciunas somehow dominates every single time. And not only was Valanciunas dominating this game and a lot of the other games against Sabonis, but this game he was even missing easy shots. I mean, easy putback layups, easy layups in general, he was missing. Just like the Kings when they played offense, because it was lacking out there. The only offense you have out there is De'Aaron Fox. He is the only, at least starter that there was out there that was really playing this game the way that we have seen these Kings dominate before. I like the way Fox was able to get into the paint and score and also hit his three-point shots. It's something that I feel like he struggled with throughout the season, was finding the balance between the two. A lot of the times if the Kings were down or if they needed a basket, he would settle for a three, when in reality, you know De'Aaron Fox can just get downhill and score easily in the paint or in the mid-range. He did great at doing both this game. He was an all-around great player, by far the only player that arrived to this game with, you know, a win on the mind. Sabonis as well tried to sing offensively. He did good, don't get me wrong. It's Sabonis and Fox who are the main guys of this team after all, and that's actually one of the biggest problems that they have. Before the Kings' last game against the Warriors, everyone was saying if they're gonna win this game, they need Keegan Murray to step up. And well, Keegan Murray did step up. He dropped, I think, 32 points, was hitting every goddamn three, defending great. He guarded Stephen Curry, for God's sake. Like, that was a game that you want to see from Keegan Murray almost every single night. It's gonna be insanely hard to replicate, but if he's gonna be a star in the league, that's the game you want to see from him all the time. And man, watching him in this game, not only was he missing a couple open threes, but at the same time, the length that the Pelicans have, like I said before, it just stops him and limits him no matter where he goes. If he attacks in the mid-range or in the paint, someone is getting their hand on that ball. Which also reminds me, there were two shots, I think it was one from Sasha and one from Barnes, where they both tried hitting a floater over Valanciunas. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I do just want to say as well, the Pelicans, good game. Congrats, you guys won. That's awesome. There was one play though where I almost threw my fucking fist into my monitor, and that's this right here, where you could see Larry Nance literally shove Keon Ellis into Harrison Barnes's legs. A play that is insanely dangerous and can cause some crazy injuries. I mean, we have seen this before. We've seen players get pushed into their teammates and they end up like tearing an ACL or whatever. And not only was there no foul call, but listen to the commentators on this play. It is actually disgusting.
Move, get out of the way. This isn't the regular season.
Move, get out of the way. This isn't the regular season. Did you see what just happened? That's a flagrant 2. Like, are we watching the same game? I'm so confused. Anyways, that's a small thing to get angry over. That's not what caused us the loss, okay? That's not what it was. And one of the big topics about this loss for the Kings specifically was everyone saying, I can't believe the Kings lost when the Pelicans didn't have Zion. Which, one thing again, if we're going to talk about the commentary that I want to say is they not only non-stop mentioned that Zion was injured and he was hurt and he's not going to be playing, but they also never even talked about Malik Monk, 6th man of the year, or if he doesn't win, he should win 6th man of the year, and Kevin Huerter being injured on the Kings side. I know I'm starting to pick the small things to get mad at, but those are just some of the things I put in my notes that really piss me off, because fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter who's injured. Both these teams could be 100% healthy. We could have a fully healthy Malik Monk, a fully healthy Zion. You could put a fucking fully healthy DeMarcus Cousins on both teams and the Kings would still lose. That's the thing. It's a 6-0 season record. There's no like little, oh my God, Zion being out changes things. That's why I wasn't confident in this team winning the game in the first place. I watched the games. I had my hopes up. I was, cheering for my team, hoping they're able to pull through, but they didn't. I'm not fucking surprised. And I'm not surprised that we lost with Zion out. Whew. Woo, man. Okay, that got a lot out of me. Okay, what is next for the Sacramento Kings, though? Okay, they lose this year, whatever. We're so happy with the little play-in exit. Okay, what can they do and where did they go wrong? Well, the first place they went wrong was by not doing anything at all. I mean, the entire Western Conference just continued to get better. Everyone's making good moves. Everyone's drafting good. We saw every other team around us get better. And Monty McNair, I love Monty. I think he's a great GM. He's the best GM that this team has seen in more than a decade. But he sat there and thought that sticking with this current roster was going to be enough to push us and keep us in the playoff for some reason. When you literally have every other Western Conference team around you getting better, not to mention next year, you have the Houston Rockets that are going to be a good team. Victor Wembanyama is going to have someone next to him, whether it's Trae Young, a crazy draft pick, or both. They're going to be a better team. And if the Kings were competing for a play-in this year, I don't even want to think about where they'll be next year if they continue to stay put, which is why I feel like what's needed most is a huge roster adjustment. You need to be aggressive. The bad part is that the Kings are in a terrible situation and can't do anything at all. This tweet right here really confused me, but the pick won't convey, which means that the Sacramento Kings get to keep their pick that I'm pretty sure would have gone to the Atlanta Hawks had they made the playoffs. But basically that means that Sacramento can't trade their 2025 through 2027 first round picks. They'll be limited to 2029 and 2031, and then 31 would be an unprotected pick. And he conveys it in the tweet itself, but you don't trade your picks 7 years in the future, especially if you're a play-in team right now. And then we also have no cap space as well. Not to mention the Kings don't really have shit to trade, at least not for the third star that a lot of fans like myself are wanting. Someone else who's out there who can really be a punch offensively that's not coming off the bench. The package I saw nonstop during the trade deadline was like Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Sasha Vezenkov, and like some random ass picks. No one is trading for that shit. We want to go out and get Mikal Bridges. We want to go out and get Pascal Siakam from earlier this season. No one's taking that garbage. So not only is it basically impossible for the Kings to trade their way to get another star into this team, but at the same time, Malik Monk's future with this team is very questionable. Malik Monk loves Sacramento, and Sacramento loves Malik Monk. There is no doubt about that. I mean, the guy has only been here for 2 years, and I guarantee you, if he were to leave this team, anytime he's back in that arena, he is getting a standing ovation until the day he retires. And when he retires, I hope his jersey's up in the rafters, okay? He is one of the most loved Sacramento Kings of all time, and with his free agency stuff really being up in the air right now, the Kings haven't really offered him anything yet. It's looking a little bit scary as to whether or not he'll return. And well, it was this interview after today's play-in game that De'Aaron Fox said some things that made me think maybe Malik Monk won't be back next year.
I mean, I'm happy for him regardless if he's with us or he isn't, and he knows that. But man, at the end of the day, this is a business. You can only play basketball for so long, you know? Money talks. Like I said, you can't play this game for forever.
I don't know how exactly I cut it down in the video to show you guys, but the way I really understood this video was that we will not be seeing Malik Monk take any sort of pay cut to stay with this team. Now, you might find that to be a little bit obvious. Maybe you're thinking, no shit, why would he take a pay cut to stay in Sacramento? But I think it's overall just really interesting to think that if the Kings aren't the ones to offer him the max amount of money, he won't be here next year. And Malik Monk being gone and not being able to really find anyone else to not only fill his shoes, but fill the other shoes needed in this team, this could be one of the shortest runs for contention that we've seen from a franchise. And I know I might sound like a huge doomer and there's no positives about the Kings right now, which is wrong. Like, there are positives about the Kings. I mean, Keegan Murray could make that huge jump next year. He's on his way to make that huge jump to become a very good offensive player while also being able to keep his defensive ability. Keon Ellis, although he didn't shine in this game specifically, has been a huge bright spot for this Kings team. Absolutely love what Keon Ellis brings to this team. Davion Mitchell has also really been a underrated element, at least this year. So there are positives to this team, but man, I can't even think about losing Malik Monk and not having anyone to come back in and take that spot, or not making any crazy moves and being aggressive on the trade market. So yeah, I guess that was the last game of my favorite team's regular season, which means you probably won't see any more Kings related videos from me, at least until maybe there's some announcements or there's some moves or there's some whatever, some sort of news. You probably won't see me talk about them for a while. So if you do want to stay up to date though with the playoffs and everything like that, trust me, I'm still locked in on this NBA season and this NBA playoffs. The videos during the regular season go crazy, but the playoff videos are turned up to another level. And because the play-in is now over, it is officially playoff time. So yeah, I really just hope the OKC Thunder sweep the living shit out of the Pelicans. That being said, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.